We're live, Chair. We're live, Chair.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I got knocked off for a second. Now call to order the June 30th, 2023 meeting of the Nevada Sentencing Commission. So good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Welcome to those who are viewing the meeting on the Department of Sentencing Policy's YouTube channel. I'm going to ask Director Gonzalez to take the roll.
Thank you, Chair. Chief Bays. Dr. Bradley.
Here.
Chairman Jericho. I can see Chairman Jericho. Director Zarenda. Deputy Chief Evans.
Present.
Judge Freeman. Ms. Grosnick.
Here.
Mr. Hazibullah. DA Hicks.
Present.
Mr. Hoffman.
Here.
Judge Jones.
Here.
Dr. Lancherman. Mr. McCormick.
Present.
Ms. Moll. Ms. Murray.
Here.
Mr. Ponder. Director Schmidt.
Good morning.
Director Sewell.
Troy Jordan standing in for Director Sewell.
Thank you. Assemblyman Ortlicker. Senator Canizaro. Senator Gocochea. Vice Chair Brady.
I saw her.
I know I can see, yeah, I'll know for the record, I can see Ms. Brady or Vice Chair Brady.
Present.
And then thank you. And then Chair Stiglitz.
Present.
Thank you, Chair. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. I'll now open agenda item number 2, the first period of public comment. There are 2 periods of public comment, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end. Members of the public have 2 options for submitting public comment. First, they may do so in writing by emailing the Department of Sentencing Policy at sentencingpolicy@ndsp.nv.gov. Public comment received in writing will be provided to the Commission and be included by reference in the minutes of the meeting. Members of the public who wish to testify may do so by telephone. Due to time constraints, public comment will be limited to 2 minutes. Any member of the public that exceeds the 2-minute limit may submit your comments in writing to the Department of Sentencing Policy. At this time, I'm going to ask staff to manage and direct those who wish to testify by telephone. Ms. Jones or is Hunter doing this? We got right? Hunter Jones.
Yes.
We have new people, new faces. All right.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the public who would like to testify by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. When it's your turn to speak, please slowly state and spell your first and last name. Chair, we have no callers who wish to testify.
All right, thank you. I'll now close the first period of public comment. We'll turn to agenda item 3, approval of the minutes. Members of the commission have been provided copies of the minutes from the May 26, 2023 meeting. Are there any edits, comments, or corrections? All right, seeing none, hearing none, I'll now entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the May 26, 2023 meeting.
McCormick, so moved.
Okay, I have a motion for Mr. McCormick. Is there a second?
Murray, second.
Okay, who seconded?
Julia Murray.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Murray. A second for Ms. Murray. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. We'll turn now, regrettably, to open agenda item number 4, which is review and discussion of job posting and procedure for selection of the executive director of the Department of Sentencing Policy. As we've become aware, our current director will be leaving us in August to pursue an opportunity in another state. I'm very happy for her. They're very lucky to get her. I feel that's a huge loss for this commission under her leadership. So But she, of course, has put together a plan to help us find her successor. And since I have such great faith and confidence in Director Gonzalez, she's going to steer us in the right direction. We're going to review and approve a job announcement and process for recruiting candidates who we can vet and then approve for the purpose of making a recommendation to the governor to be appointed. I'm going to now turn the time over to Director Gonzalez and let her give us that update. So Director, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. And I will save my remarks and emotional for our last meeting when we get together for the interviews. But I really want to thank the Chair for those remarks and for the support of this commission. Like I said, I'm sure I'll say lots before then, but thank you very much. So I will go over what the plan is or what I will outline in the next few moments of this agenda item. So first, I'm going to review the statute and what that specifically requires this commission to do when it comes to appointing the executive director. Then I will walk through the proposed procedure. This procedure is based on what the commission did previously when I was appointed, and then we will review the announcement and then turn to the chair to add any additions or edits that the commission would like to the procedure, to the announcement, that we can then move forward with. So in terms of the statute, what it requires in NRS 176.01323 is that in subsection 2, the executive director of the department must be appointed by the governor from a list of 3 qualified persons recommended by the Sentencing Commission. And as we know, in AB 32 this past session, we made the change to add the term qualified. We also recommended the change that to the qualifications for the director. So under subsection 3, it says the director, there are no specific requirements as far as what needs to be expected of the director. Previously, that was the director had to be an attorney, and so that's been removed with the passage and signage of AB 32. So with that, we have very limited guidance on from the statute on how to proceed. So again, I will rely on the procedure that a proposed procedure that's based on what we did last time. And then, of course, the commission can add and implement what you would like to do moving forward. So we have this flexibility for the commission to move forward in a way that works best for what makes sense for the next appointment. So what I would propose is that after the job announcement is approved today, we will submit that for posting. We can currently the job announcement, we have a proposed date which we'll review and decide if we want to extend that. Then the next step would be to hold public interviews at a Sentencing Commission meeting. Just yesterday, we were able to find a date that works before I leave and get everybody together, hopefully. So that is Friday, August 4th, and that will be in person at the legislature. And so we've confirmed those committee rooms that we'll be able to use. And so we'll have the very specific information we get closer, but we are all set for August 4th at the legislature in both the Grant Sawyer building in Las Vegas and then the building here in Carson City. And those will be in person. So we'll be able to put that information in the job announcement. Then at that meeting, we'll conduct the interviews. And then if satisfied with any or up to 3 of the applicants, the Sentencing Commission will vote to approve up to 3 names to send to the governor to then be appointed. After that, what happens is the governor will then appoint the member or the candidate based on the list that the commission submits. For the interview, I recommend that each applicant submit be prepared to give a 3 to 5 minute statement to the Sentencing Commission, and then we could open up after that statement for questions from the Sentencing Commission. Last time the Sentencing Commission asked standard questions of each applicant and then also asked additional questions. And I think my recommendation comes from, we have a lot of information from the individual's cover letter, from their resume, and so you have a good sense of their qualifications. And I think if we get their statement of why they want the position and what they're hoping to achieve for their vision, that will give a good sense. And then based on that, I think it'd be appropriate for the commission to ask individual questions based on what's appropriate for that applicant and the information they have before them. So that would be my proposal for the actual interview process. So moving on to the job announcement, so I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can review that together. So the beginning of the job announcement is standard language as far as what's required for this open competitive recruitment. You can see that the second paragraph indicates that that the meeting will be conducted based on the open meeting law, and that will be recorded, and that all the resumes and information they submit will be considered public record. Of course, we will remove public information. On the next section, we lay out what the description is for the director. So I have here oversees the function of the department. And then moving on to, I think what's important is making sure that they know that the position is tasked with addressing the dynamic and challenging issues. And then, of course, supporting the Sentencing Commission and advancing its statutory duties. These duties have, the duties that I proposed here have been changed and adjusted based on what I think would be best when we are recruiting. And so it does not match exactly what was posted last time. So emphasizing that liaison between the Sentencing Commission, the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch, and of course, all of our stakeholders. The director must be able to facilitate the collection and aggregation of data from all criminal justice agencies, be able to understand that data and identify sets of variables regarding data that are either not being collected or shared. That does come from statutory language in terms of duties of both the commission and the director. Prepare reports as required by the statute, and of course, other reports, assist the Sentencing Commission in fulfilling its statutory duties, be able to manage 4 staff. We're actually, we just got approved for an additional position, so we will change this, that the director will be required to be able to manage 5 staff. And of course, be able to present presentations to stakeholders and then schedule, prepare meetings. Moving on to the second page, those duties continue as far as assisting the commission and ensuring that they can comply with open meeting law, be able to submit requests for information from agencies and stakeholders, provide guidance and technical assistance to various agencies and stakeholders, and then be able to, of course, collaborate with everyone. The minimum qualifications here are very open based on what the commission thinks would be appropriate. So this is just based on what some of our previous discussions in the meeting and just what I think would be a minimum of the expectations that the commission should be looking for. A bachelor's degree, a minimum of 5 years in any area of criminal justice, high level experience in the criminal justice system with demonstrated knowledge of criminal law in Nevada, demonstrated understanding of corrections, sentencing, and criminal justice policy, demonstrated excellent management and interpersonal skills to foster a team environment, demonstrated creative policymaking, project management, and problem-solving skills, excellent written communication and public speaking skills, demonstrated understanding of criminal justice data collection and analysis, astute understanding of Nevada government, politics, and the legislative process, and the ability to successfully manage the dynamic and differing needs, interests, and viewpoints of multiple criminal justice stakeholders. The process we will provide here in the job announcement will again clarify that this will be conducted consistent with the Nevada open meeting law. Applications will be reviewed to determine whether those applicants have the knowledge, skills, and abilities required for the position. And then the qualified applicants will be invited to an interview. So now that we have the date, I would put that date here in the job announcement. To clarify that they will need to appear. Their expectation would be that they would appear here in Carson City because that's where the position is located. And so I will put that in the announcement as well. And then at the conclusion of the meeting, as I have noted here, the commission will forward the names of 1 to 3 qualified applicants to the governor, who will then review and appoint this position. It is possible that the commission might not find any qualified applicants and may want to start the recruitment process over. So I can adjust that so that that expectation is clear, or that it's just, I could put up to 3 qualified applicants to the governor. And then the recommendation I have for how the individuals, the interested individuals will apply will be to submit a cover letter, a resume, and then 2 letters of recommendations. This is based on the requirements for last time. What I have here, the date is July 21st. Now that we have our August meeting scheduled, we can adjust that. We will need time to compile the applications and then get them to the commission in time so that you have time to review them before the interviews. So if we do adjust this, my recommendation would be to not be too much later than maybe the middle of the following week of July, to make sure we have that time to get them to everybody based on what we have. And then the materials will be sent to Hunter Jones in our department, our administrative assistant. And then we have instructions here on how to, other additional information they must submit with their application materials. So with that, I will turn the time back to the chair for recommendations on how what the commission would also like us to do in regards to the procedure and to the job announcement.
All right, thank you, Director. Will, comments, thoughts? People had a chance to review it. Is there anything we're leaving out? Anything we should include? Anything that should be softer? Anything that should be harder? In terms of like, if somebody has, or like maybe somebody has crazy legislative policy experience, but they don't have as much experience in one other area. Like what, I think that'll come down to the end determination, but is there anything that you all think we need to make this as attractive as possible to get somebody as close to Director Gonzalez's mad skills as we can? Vice Chair Brady, please.
Thank you. Christine Jones Brady for the record. I was kind of comparing this one to the job posting we used last time. And I kind of liked how, I mean, we didn't have a lot of applicants at the time because it had the requirement of being an attorney. But at that time, the only minimum qualification was to be an attorney, a licensed attorney in Nevada. And I'd like to recommend that for this minimum qualification, we have a bachelor's degree and then state like, give examples of if we want to, like types of bachelor's degrees that we think are relevant. And then for all of the rest of them, I kind of like how they did it last time, where they talked about qualifications preferred. So instead of making all of those things like minimum qualifications, because I think that narrows the pool, I would recommend that we put, so I think what we had last time was additional desired qualifications. And then we also had a section of preference may be given to candidates who have : and then there's another list of things. And so one other addition, another recommendation is for, I had a couple questions, but I'll come back to it if other people don't have those same questions. But to add something in there about knowledge of Nevada's criminal court system, and then legal terminology, procedures, and legal ethics. I think that I didn't see that we really emphasized court system, but I'd like to kind of, sort of enumerate that specifically court system, because sentencing's courts, it would be nice to have that as one of the qualities that we might be looking for. And other than that, I agree with you, Chair, that, we want to make this as attractive and spread the net as wide as, well, it kind of implied, spread the net wide and make it attractive so we get a lot of diverse candidates.
All right, thank you. Chairman Dorico?
Are you okay to hear me? I wasn't sure.
I hear you.
Okay. So from statutorily and being involved in this process the last time when we got Ms. Gonzalez, I believe we had one meeting, we did not have enough candidates to refer on to the governor. We continued it out a second time to make sure, and statutorily it says to have the department must be appointed by the governor from a list of 3 persons recommended by the Sentencing Commission. And I think I heard some language on here of up to 3 members. And I think we actually statutorily have to submit 3 names to the governor's office. I just wanted clarification for that with the statutory language.
Thank you, Chairman Dorico. Yeah, so what happened last time was the interpretation of the statute and what would lead to a not absurd result. And so what happened previously was only 1 name was submitted to the governor previously. There were not 3 names submitted, because what was interpreted and applied in that meeting was that if a list of 3 individuals was required, that could lead to an absurd result where either the commission is forced to recommend someone that it does not want to recommend, and or forced to just move anybody along, because which would lead to an absurd result of the commission not having the qualified person that it wants appointed to the commission. And so what was applied was that it would be, even though the language does not say up to, if it was required to be 3, it could lead to a situation where the commission never had 3 qualified candidates to send to the governor. So moving forward based on that interpretation, as was applied at that recruitment, I've moved forward as an ongoing recommendation for this is how the commission should proceed, so that in the future, the commission continues to get the applicants that make the most sense, knowing that it's going to be up to 3 people to submit to the governor.
Okay. All right. I just want to bring that up. That language said a list of 3, and so I heard the up to. So I just want to make sure we're okay with doing so. If potentially it's just 1.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Mr. Hoffman?
Yeah, so my concern is there's the item about Nevada, astute knowledge of Nevada politics, policy. Vice Chair Jones Brady was talking about courts. I wonder if having it just be Nevada might sort of scare off out-of-state applicants. Maybe we could change that to something like state level politics or policy. And then that way we're not expressing a preference between in-state and out-of-state applicants.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Mr. McCormick?
Mr. Hoffman sort of stole my thunder on my point, but I was thinking that like Vice Chair Brady said, minimum qualification shouldn't be Nevada specific. We could say that is preferred. But again, just kind of reiterating what Mr. Hoffman said, we don't want to scare away out of state applicants.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCormick. Other comments? Thoughts?
I was trying to find the raise hand thing, but I couldn't find it for some reason. Chair Bradley, for the record. I wondered about the necessity of it being in Carson. Is there, I mean, I probably is much easier, but is there a possibility that it can be in Vegas? It might attract other applicants, if so.
Yeah, I'm shaking a no, because the staff is here, the building's here, and hopefully with the salary change and those the type of things, we can attract somebody here. I mean, that's just me. I mean, if everybody's like, if you don't care, but having a supervisor offsite would be, I think, unfortunate. I mean, we all struggle with that now when we have these split kind of offices, but
sure.
I think it's a Carson recruitment. I mean, weigh in. These are just my thoughts on it.
I think that makes total sense. I just wanted to throw it out.
Okay. Vice Chair?
I think that to your point, working for the state, I know that office space is at a premium. So that's probably why they want it in Carson, because they've put a lot of, and I'll defer to Director Gonzalez, but a lot has gone into securing office space, and I don't know that the state has it budgeted to procure office space down in Las Vegas for this position. So that I agree that it would be nice to make it statewide, but I don't know how doable that would be for the state.
Well, it is statewide. Anybody can apply. You just have to come to Carson, right? So, or Reno, or Gardnerville, or what, the Northern Nevada world's your oyster. It's up to you. And part of this too is, you recruit, you see what happens. And if everybody's like, I'm not doing it, then that's a different situation. But I don't think that's where we are. And I don't think we want to suggest to people that that's an option personally. Just those are just my thoughts. Chief Bays.
Just real, does this announcement get tied to all of the state benefits? Because that might be something that people would be interested in hearing as well. I didn't see anywhere where it talked about that. That's a big draw for people.
Yeah, it does include those benefits. So I can add that to clarify that that's part of it.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Bradley?
Chair Bradley, for the record, I think that would be really good to, I'm a hiring manager, and so I definitely highlight our benefit package because it's very good. The other thing I was going to ask is how is there a strategy for disseminating the posting? Because putting it on the Meet's website is one thing, but it's not very effective usually, I find.
So the strategy right now was just that, because I guess I was hoping we have, such a variety of stakeholders here that word of mouth will also spread as far as the availability of the position. But I'm open to what else we could do. I think last time that was what it was limited to. There might have been one other place they tried to recruit. But yeah, that would be the general strategy here would be through posting on there, and then of course notifying all of our stakeholders that this position is available, or that it's now open. And so hoping that word of mouth will kind of, because my thought is too, that will actually get to the type of applicants I think we're hoping to recruit, those who interact with our stakeholders and members of the commission here, to focus on those that would understand the process and what we're looking for locally. As far as nationally, I don't have a strategy for that right now.
Let me know if you want any suggestions, because I have gone through multiple hirings and it's a challenge.
And this is McCormick. If you send it to us, Victoria, we can push it out through our channels as well.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Murray?
Just along those lines, is there any type of publication that goes out to the various state sentencing commissions in affiliation with like the conference we're holding next month that this could push out to? So maybe we get some high-level applicants from a similarly structured state?
Yes, I can absolutely do that. Yep, I can send that to them. And then as you mentioned that too, I could also send it to the state bar. Even though we're not recruiting an attorney, it's in that realm.
And if you send that to me, I can probably talk to the bar about doing that free of cost. They tend to do that on some of the public postings if asked.
All right, Dr. Lanterman?
Thank you. This is Jen Lanterman for the record. Similarly, I'm in the American Society of Criminology Division of Corrections and Sentencing. So we've got sort of it's like a national organization for researchers whose areas of expertise are in corrections and sentencing. And so they do this type of work, and we can post it at no cost there. So I think, like, in terms of the word of mouth, we've all got those types of professional affiliations where we could distribute it to the appropriate targeted audiences.
Excellent. Yeah, when it's finalized, I can I'll send it out to the commission as a whole. So then, yeah, please take it and run and wherever you want to post it, and then whatever else you need from me to post it. Thank you.
Vice Chair Brady, did you have your hand still up? I didn't know if you had some.
No, sorry, I'll put it.
No, I mean, I think once it's finalized, all the channels, I mean, you don't leave it to chance. Let's just throw it out and see who shows up. If you know qualified people, if you have organizations where qualified people congregate, make sure that we're casting, we're fishing where we might find fish. So do it. Like I say, don't leave it to chance. Anyone else have any comments or? Ms. Murray.
Sorry, I just was sort of thinking about Vice Chair Brady's suggestion of putting some preferred degrees or required minimum degrees. I would just suggest that maybe that go as a preference as opposed to a minimum requirement when you're listing out certain degrees. My understanding of the reason for coming down from a law degree to a bachelor's degree was limiting the pool. And likewise, people study all kinds of things in undergrad and then go on to have vast experience in fields. And I wouldn't want someone to be eliminated due to having studied communications or something, which wouldn't necessarily populate on our list of requireds, but so that's all.
So to that end, and to Ms. Murray's comment, what would our minimum qualifications be then? Because then the preferred experience is obviously we prefer a lot of other things, but what is the minimum? The minimum is a bachelor's degree is going to be a minimum requirement. Is 5 years in criminal justice going to be a minimum requirement? You know, and then these other things become preferred relevant experience or those type of things. So I just want to throw that out to the group. Chief Bays.
I'm Michelle Bates for the record. You could add some language in that minimum qualifications that catch-all language about equivalent combination of experience and education that would allow that flexibility, but also, you know, maybe people who have a very on-point degree, but they have 4 years of experience or something like that. So that might help with the very specific.
Excellent. Other comments? And Director Gonzalez, are you kind of working on a red line while we're doing this? Something you can maybe you can pop up, because I'm hoping to leave this meeting with. Well, we need to leave the meeting with something you can run with within.
Yeah.
this parameter.
Yeah, what I could do, like it would take me to figure my computer to figure out how to do that, but I have got notes here. So what I will do is repeat what I think we have and make sure we're clear on that. At least what I hear right now is we don't, like what you were just going through, Chair, is that we don't have the minimum qualifications. What I've heard so far is everything listed here would be a preferred qualification, or preference will be given to the individuals with these qualifications. And so I could try and look something up real quick to see what we might want to consider for minimum, or I could pull up that previous announcement to see if there's any of those. But I would say based on what I've heard so far, I haven't heard anything that would be minimum, that these are all preferred. And then something about what Chief Bays just mentioned about a combination of these will be considered as far as experience and degrees and such.
Anything else from the group on this? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Murray.
I just wanted at least to clarify my own thoughts. I don't think you need to fully abandon the list as you have it stated as minimums. I think that the bachelor's degree is a minimum. Your second point there, a minimum of 5 years. I think you could add a phrase to the end that says, or a demonstrated equivalent thereof in a field related to criminal justice. And then that could remain a minimum so that we have some baselines and we don't get a weird floodgate of applicants. Skipping over the third point, because I think that would move to preferred. The next 1, 2, 3 that begin with demonstrated, I think those can remain as minimum qualifications because it shows connection to the field and it's also interpretable by our evaluation. The fourth that begins excellent and the fifth that begins demonstrated, I would say the same too. The next that begins astute and then refers to Nevada, I think would pull out to your preferred. And then the last, I think, could stay as the minimum. And then you could add to the preferred a list of specific degrees that the group believed was relevant, as Vice Chair Brady suggested, and some of the other suggestions that came up. But it would allow you to not have to fully start over, since we're on a very tight timeline, and most of this we do actually really, really care about. And it does sort of close the floodgate a little, but not too tightly.
All right, thank you, Ms. Murray. Those are great, great suggestions. Deputy Chief Evans.
Good morning, Aaron Evans for the record. With those MQs, those 3 that start with the demonstrated, level of experience in certain areas, from being in state service, it's pretty easy for a lot of positions to just meet the MQs, the minimum qualifications, because it's a degree, it's training in a certain area, it's, a certificate or years of experience. But how is an applicant going to demonstrate, excellent management and interpersonal skills just in the application process, just to show that they meet those minimum qualifications to get moved to the, to the interview process? So I think those would be better as preferred qualities as opposed to minimum qualities, because I don't know how an applicant's going to prove that they have an understanding of corrections, sentencing, and criminal justice just through the application. Like that'll be proved out in the interview process. I just don't know. Because I've seen, like in my own state service, I've seen people that I know that are qualified because of the work they do, but because they don't meet the MQs as written, you know, they don't get a chance to interview. So some of those ones that are demonstrated, I think those will be demonstrated through the interview. I'm assuming this posting would go out like any other, you know, state of Nevada employment position, and you know, it's going to get reviewed by DHRM or whomever, and they'll make the call if the person meets those MQs. And I think those are kind of hard to pinpoint.
So if I could, because this is unclassified, they would actually all go through us and the commission. So it will ultimately be up to the commission. So based on whatever the commission approves here in the job announcement, I'll consult with the commission if we want to make sure, you know, who we're going to include, or if we just include all the applicants we receive, and then at the commission meeting, the commission can compare to the qualifications and the applicants, and then, you know, just qualify or take that in consideration when you're analyzing it. So we do have flexibility there as far as that vetting process with it being an unclassified position.
Very good, thanks.
Vice Chair Brady?
I still would like to move those. Just, I don't know how other people feel, but I agree with a lot of his statements. I know that this isn't going to be a classified position, but I think by having all of those there as minimum qualifications, there will be some good people that self-select out of the process. So I would concur that we move it to preferred or recommended or whatever the language. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair. Anything further?
I'm working on something we can look at, Chair. So
Awesome.
I'll go ahead and share my screen if you like. And then Ms. Murray, I think I wrote everything down, but then I'll move around what you have proposed and we can work from that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I have got our minimum qualifications and our preferred. With the bachelor's degree, I just left that because I'll come back to that. Oh, let's see. Yes, because I left that in the minimum of 5 years in any area of criminal justice, and added that language of the demonstrated equivalent in a relevant field. And then I believe you said the next to the three demonstrated of understanding corrections, management skills, and creative policy making would be minimum. Is that correct, Julie, Ms. Murray?
That is how I proposed it, but
Okay.
obviously it's just a proposal.
Right, just so we have something everyone can look at. Yeah, perfect. And then the communication and writing skills would make sense in the minimum, correct? Is what you were thinking, Ms. Murray? Okay. And then let's see, data analysis, and then that last one, I think I had noted the ability to successfully manage would be the also in the minimum. So this is what I have right here. If the commission wants to look at this and then help me where else you want to add language or adjust from here.
That is how I suggested it. I would also suggest that you look at the chat and the language that Member McCormick suggested for in the parentheses on the second bullet. I actually think it is a better fit than what I said when I was speaking.
All right, Mr. McCormick, if you could state that so then I can put it in here and we have it, and because yeah, now let's put it in here.
Yeah, mine was just sort of the standard we use at the court in our job announcements, or an equivalent combination of education and experience, because that way, you know, it gives the reviewing body a lot of flexibility in making that determination.
Okay, great. Oh, and then I will remove Nevada as well, because that was also recommended.
This is McCormick again. Do we want to combine those first 2 points? A bachelor's degree and a minimum of 5 years in any area of criminal justice, parenthetical or equivalent combination of education and experience. So that's all there on one line. Does that make sense to people?
I think if the parenthetical is going to be worded that way, that's a good suggestion.
And this is Beth from Metro. One of the things that we do is we have those minimum qualifications in our postings, but where we say preferred, we put best candidates will have. Just a thought.
So have we, oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Christine Jones Brady for the record. So then have we decided we want to keep all of those demonstrated things as minimum qualifications? So if we have like an excellent person that's worked in court services or something, but they have never worked in corrections, they don't qualify?
Well, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off,
No, go ahead.
Chair, but I was thinking that maybe the issue there is the terminology demonstrated.
Yeah.
So what if we said an understanding of corrections, management and interpersonal skills to foster a team environment, and policymaking, project management, and problem solving skills. So if you take the demonstrated off, then we get out of that sort of discussion on what I think is demonstrates that is different than what the chair thinks is different than what Ms. Murray thinks.
Great. Could you say that again, please?
Oh, I was just, it was McCormick again. I was just, excellent management and interpersonal skills to foster a team environment. So just remove the demonstrated, because I think that's where we get into the what is demonstrating. And then policymaking, project management and problem solving skills. And I don't have a preference on creative there, but because maybe if we take that demonstrated out, then someone could necessarily think, well, I could do that, but I don't know how to demonstrate it, so I'm not going to apply.
Those were my comments as well. Vice Chair Brady.
Thank you, Chair Stiglich. Can we also add knowledge of Nevada? It doesn't have to be Nevada, but knowledge of the criminal court system, legal terminology, procedures. And I don't know if that would be for minimum or best candidates, but something to do with knowledge of criminal court system.
What was the other piece, Vice Chair Brady? Courts, procedures.
Legal terminology and procedures. I guess court procedures or legal procedures. Thank you.
All right, anyone further? Ms. Murray?
Just we left one demonstrated in the minimum qualification, so I didn't know if Mr. McCormick wanted to address a proposal for that one. I think it's just that you eliminate it and make it understanding, but I don't want to speak for him. And then
I concur.
And then on that newly added bullet point, knowledge of criminal court, I think the comma is misplaced. I think the idea is to say not, because in the sentence above you say knowledge of the courts. So this one, I think what Vice Chair Jones Brady was actually saying was knowledge of criminal court procedures and legal terminology as specific to that item. So just grammar, sorry.
No, the comma thing, help me out, please. Thank you.
I'm assuming whatever motion that we approve, that Ms. Gonzalez will have the authority, the independent authority to make us look better. Comment, grammar, spelling, any of those that we catch. All right, anyone else have any further comments on this draft? All right, that said, I'll entertain a motion to approve this job announcement to recruit the next executive director. If anyone has that motion.
This is McCormick. I move that the Sentencing Commission approve this job announcement for the recruitment of the next executive director and allow the current executive director all necessary leeway to execute technical changes to make us look smarter than we are.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
Hoffman, seconded.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hoffman. I have a motion for Mr. McCormick and a second for Mr. Hoffman. Is there any discussion on that motion? Right, hearing none, seeing no hands. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. So I will approve and close that agenda item. We'll turn then to open agenda item 5, potential topic and dates for future meetings. As you may be aware, this is the last meeting of the 2021-2023 meeting cycle. Our next meeting will kick off the 2023-2025 meeting cycle and will be held August 4th, 2023 at 9 a.m. This is an in-person meeting at the Ledge Building in Carson City and the Grant Sawyer Building in Las Vegas. So at that meeting, we're going to need to elect the chair and vice chair for the 2023-2025 cycle and conduct the interviews of the candidates for our next director. And then I can work with staff to get the meeting scheduled for the rest of the calendar year. I did have one question, Ms. Gonzalez. I think I got a letter that there were a couple people up. I did have a brief, I don't see him on here, conversation with Judge Freeman. And I know he had spoken to Judge Jones, and it may be that we need to replace those two. So with the commission's, so if they're, Ms. Jones or Judge Jones, do you want to serve more, or you got other things going?
I have the same concerns as Judge Freeman, and I did speak with him, and he told me that he had spoken to you. So I share his position that I don't think that
it's a good fit
that I
for
should
you.
be reappointed. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that to some extent, maybe we haven't made the Commission of Sentencing and Sentencing Policy sexy enough or interesting enough for, no, I'm just joking, Judge Jones, but new blood is always good because then it's new opportunities and new ideas. So I'm going to prevail upon you, Judge Jones, to kind of cast the net down there about who you think may be a good fit if they're interested from the 8th to serve on this, because I don't know who has criminal assignments or has that interest or that expertise. So with the commission's permission, I'm going to prevail upon Judge Jones to maybe make some suggestions about, who might be good and interested. And certainly I can reach out to them and then the director can reach out to them. And I'm going to ask Judge Freeman to do the same up here. If there are any of the rural judges that people are aware of that may be a good fit, have this interest, send some names, do it with relative quickness, not like tomorrow, but in the next few weeks, so that they can also fully participate in the process that we're going to undertake. So I do thank you. I thank you for your service and your input. And I think as I explained to Judge Freeman, before I was on this commission, what the focus is kind of ebbs and flows as the needs are, so certainly before I was here, there was a big focus on population that turned the focus to classification of felonies, Bs versus As or whatnot. Then it kind of turns at some points to what's going on in corrections and release. So it kind of ebbs and flows as the needs, the needs come out with obviously the data-driven mission underpinning it. So who knows what the future holds, but very grateful, for your participation and Judge Freeman's participation and what you bring to what you've brought to the table. So think about who might be fun.
I definitely will. And I will reach out to you regarding that very soon.
All right. I appreciate it. All right. Is there anything, anybody have anything further then for future meetings? If you do, I don't see any hands, please contact myself or Director Gonzalez for a minute and do that. So at this time, we'll turn to the second period of public comment. Ms. Jones, is there any people here waiting for public comment?
There are no callers at this time.
All right, and at this time, I will close the second period of public comment. Thank you all for your work during this meeting and this cycle. Thank you to the staff and the members of the commission. I think we have a good kind of template going forward, and I encourage you, again, cast a wide net, encourage people you think would be wonderful, and be ready to fully participate, in this process so that we can keep I think the good and important work and continue to build on Director Gonzalez's good work and the direction of this committee. So I look forward to seeing you all in August, many of you in person, and the meeting is now adjourned. So thank you. Be kind, have a great day, and we'll see you in August. Bye-bye.